The grace of God comes to the soul through the channel of living faith, and that faith it is in our power to exercise. So it is really again comes to individual choice. We may choose to neglect prayer, or we may choose to pray. And the reality is, it says here, the children of the Lord neglect prayer too much. Work in faith and live results with God. Pray in faith, and the mystery of His providence will bring His answer. At times, it may seem that you cannot succeed, but work and believe, putting in your efforts, faith, hope, and courage. After doing what you can, wait for the Lord, declaring His faithfulness, and He will bring His word to pass. Wait not in fretful anxiety, but in undaunted faith and unshaken trust. So, another character or habit that we must lose is this becoming fretful. Let us not be fretful. Let us not murmur. Let us endure patiently whatever is coming. Wait on God, pray, strive for what needs to be done, and then wait for God. He will bring His word to pass. He will do what He has said. Little or no faith. Hebrews 11:6. But without faith it is impossible to please Him. For he that cometh to God must believe that He is, and that He is a rewarder of them that diligently seek Him. So if we do not exercise our faith, God will not be happy with us. That's why we must gain that experience needed. We must have the faith that will please our God. Review and Herald, December 11, 1888, paragraph 15. Some in the church will prove to be false brethren, and this is sad, because it is happening. It happened before, it is happening now, and it will happen again. Some in the church will prove to be false brethren. Their faith, their love, their patience, their constancy will be tested and tried. So every one of us, our faith will be tested. Our love will be tested. Our patience will be tested. Our constancy will be tested and tried. And if we are not rooted and grounded in the truth, if we are not filled with the fruits of righteousness which are by Jesus Christ unto the glory and the praise of God, they will become offended, or we will become offended at reproofs and warnings, will not humble their souls before God, and will go back and walk no more with those who love the truth. So, are we offended when there's someone who's rebuking us, reproving us of what we are doing? Are we offended? Are we becoming offended? Are we trying to what's the word? I forgot the term. I'm sorry. Will we not be humble and just accept that we are in the wrong before God? But it says here, those who are false brethren will not endure being reproved and being warned. They will not humble their souls before God, and sadly they will walk no more with those who love the truth. And this is a reality. It's a sad reality, but we cannot do anything about it because each and every one of us decides our own destiny. We choose the path that we walk on. We will walk in. The people need to be aroused in regard to the dangers of the present time. This is our work. We need to warn people. The watchmen are asleep. And another sad reality. Watchmen are asleep. And God is talking about us. Because He has placed us, man, on the walls of Zion. We are years behind. It is true, we are years behind. In the 1890s, 1880s, there are quotations that says that, if I'm not wrong, Mrs. White wrote it in 1903. She said that if the church walk in the truth, receive the message that Jones and Waggoner preached, that was the righteousness of Christ. If the church accepted it and practically lived those truths, Mrs. White said it would not have reached the current time. Christ would have come back. Uh, Let us remember that in their time there was a Sunday movement already. There was a move to implement Sunday laws. But sadly, and on the other side, it is good for us. We are born and we have a chance to go to heaven. But sadly, the church did not do her part. The watchmen were asleep. And now we are years behind. We are years behind. Let the chief watchmen feel the urgent necessity of taking heed to themselves, lest they lose the opportunities given them to see the dangers. So we must be watchful. We must ourselves heed the warnings, or else we will lose the opportunities and we will not see the danger. Let them blow the trumpet, not in a general way, but so that it may give a certain sound, that other watchmen upon the walls of Zion may hear and in their turn send forth the warning note. There are different ways of blowing the trumpet. As an illustration, uh, for those who have experience riding a boat, there are different ways that the horn on the boat are blown also. When they are going to depart, there are certain patterns. If they're going to dock, there are certain patterns also. If they are in danger or need help, there are patterns of blowing the trumpet or the horns. That is true for us also. There is a way to blow the trumpet. There is a way how to give the truth to others. We must be able to let the trumpet give a certain sound. And the sound we need to give is the warning sound. We must be able to warn the people of the dangers that are coming, that all the other watchmen may be able to hear, and in their turn, they can give also the warning to others. In that way, we will all be warned. Great Controversy 622. Those who exercise but little faith now are in the greatest danger of falling under the power of satanic delusions and the decree to compel the conscience. If we are not gaining the experience in our faith now, then there's a great danger that we will be deluded when the Sunday laws come. And even if they endure the test, they will be plunged into deeper distress and anguish in the time of trouble. Even if they're able to choose to obey God, they will be in deeper distress and anguish. Why? Because they have never made it a habit to trust in God. So let us make it our habit to trust in God. We must become like the little child who has full trust in his parents. I'm happy that God has given me the experience to have my own child. And I am really amazed at how he trusts me. When he is on a chair, on a couch, it's just like he's walking on flat ground. He's not afraid to fall. Why? Because he sees me. Do we have that faith in our God, in our Father in heaven? Are we as a child to our Father in heaven? Are we not afraid to fall because we know that He is there? Or do we doubt? Sadly, many times we doubt. That's why we need to gain experience. We need to exercise that faith now. Or, when the time comes, we will be in the greatest danger of falling under the power of satanic delusions. Lessons of faith which they have neglected, they will be forced to learn under a terrible pressure of discouragement. So it will be heavier if we do not gain the experience now. We may still be saved, but it will be really heavy for us. Just because we have not exercised faith early. Must be tested. Our faith must be tested. James 1:2-4. My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. But let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. Do we want to be perfect? Then let us be patient when our faith is tested. Patience will help us become perfect. But before we can have patience, we must practice health reform, temperance in all things. An intemperate man cannot be a patient man. It is the words that God used is absolute. If we are not able to control our appetites, then we will not become patient. If we are not patient, how will we become perfect? Review and Herald, December 6, 1881, paragraph 17. We have each an individual responsibility. No friend or neighbor can be a criterion for us. Jesus is the only safe pattern.